Nature or nurture? That is the topic of our discussion today, friends. Which is more prevalent? Which is more of an indicator? Which is more of a influence on a child's upbringing? But before we get into that, please, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please take the time to subscribe. I'm trying to get to 100 subscribers. So please subscribe. Thumbs it up if you like it and all that other good stuff as we get into our discussion. If you did not know, Dwayne Wade's son, Zaya Wade, is now identifying as Zaya Wade. And I want to say congratulations. Good for you. That's your child. It's not my child. Do what you want to do. But what I ask is not so much whether or not I could care less what he does, what him and his child does, what they do in their life. It has nothing to do with me. Thumbs up. But in the midst of this congratulating and celebrating, let's not forget there's another side to the argument, right? I have no problem with you believing that Zaya Wade, whatever he's calling himself at this point, I have no problem with you believing that's beautiful. I have no problem with you believing that that's great. I have no problem with you telling other people that you think it's great. My problem is there are a lot of people who love to call other people ignorant when they don't agree with what they believe, right? If you choose to believe he's a great guy, that Dwayne Wade is dad of the year, then that's fine. But you should open the mindset for someone to think that he's the worst dad in America. The same way you believe that teaching your child that they're born the wrong race, he believes that teaching your child that being born the wrong race is right. He can believe that bringing your child up that way is wrong. Differing parent. Only difference is one opinion is allowed and the other one is somehow bigoted. I hate when they put the homosexual argument in the same breath as gender qualities. Gender and or race or sex. I don't like that. I don't like them putting those things in the same light because they're not. Homosexuality is an act. It's not a state of being. Right? So if I say that I think homosexuality is wrong, I am not saying that a dude walking around snapping his finger is evil. I'm not saying a guy walking around being feminine is evil. I'm not saying a guy going to listen to It's Raining Men or going to a club and dancing is evil. I'm saying him sleeping with another dude is evil. So, understand there's a difference. Nobody is saying that a homosexual lifestyle or a person who chooses to have sex with another dude is evil. Nobody said that person is evil. You're saying that the act that he's committing is evil. And on a sliding scale, I'm not even saying that it's the most evil act you can do. But it is a simple act. It's an act that is simple, therefore it is evil. So if I believe in my religion that something you're doing is wrong, then I have every right to believe that. Now you can turn around later on and say, "Look, man, I don't ascribe to that. I don't believe that being homosexual." Okay, cool. Do you? I'm not gonna call. I just don't understand when I say my opinion. They try to paint me as the same thing as a dude who says that black people are lower race. How is that the same thing? One is ascribing absolutely no characteristics to the person outside of an act they're committing. The other thing is attributing all the attributes to someone based on something that has absolutely nothing to do with their actions. You cannot put those two things in the same category and say, oh, you calling me someone, you saying that a homosexual act is wrong is the same thing as me saying that person is wrong. That is not the same thing. And that's what blows me away when you look at this situation. And let me explain. Zion just has been around for a lot of years. I mean, there's been pictures. Nobody is surprised by this announcement. Let's just say that. If you watch Zaire Wade on Dwayne Wade's Instagram page, there's been a lot of comments about it, and not all the comments on there are smart comments. Some people are ignorant, and you're gonna have to deal with the fact that they're ignorant. I don't feel like it's right to sit there and bag on a 12-year-old kid. I'm sorry. At worst, you know what I'm saying, it's not, if you don't agree with what he's doing, it's not his fault. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't. If you see a 12-year-old who's a spoiled brat who gets everything that they want, it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault. So what I keep seeing is a lot of people are taking this out on this kid, like he's a bad person, like he's evil, or that like you got to realize you're dealing with a kid here. You know what I'm saying? Like you can say your opinion, and you can say what you want to say, but don't go post that on a kid's picture. I mean, I think that's vile. I thought that was disgusting. When I went to his profile, you see all these people like just reaming on this kid. And at the time, I think he was 8 or 9 years old. I'm like, understand, you may feel a certain way, right? You may feel that whatever you want to say about Zion Wade is bad. In your head, that's fine. Think what you want to say. Hell, say it out loud. But don't post it in a place where that kid or his family has to see it. I think that's not fair. I think that puts that turns into a state where you could be pushing that kid into a lifestyle, because a lot of times nowadays opposition, when you're met with opposition, is somehow seen as more triumphant for you to stay in the same. Right? So even if you are a person who disagrees with that lifestyle, you're pushing that kid into it by making it harder on him. Because right now you're dealing with a kid who has absolutely nothing. I love the way they keep touting this little golf cart discussion where he's talking about, oh, well, if you grow up in life and you don't, and you don't understand life, and you're not really living a full life, you're lying to yourself and pretending to be something you're not. All I kept thinking at the time was, that's pretty ironic that he said that. Because everybody who disagrees or believes that is a wrong lifestyle, that's exactly what they're telling you. You're going to go through life pretending to be something that you're not, because the only way you can be that thing is to pretend. You can't actually be that. No matter how much surgeries you have, no matter how many hormones you take, you can never, ever be a woman. You just can't. You can act like a woman, but you can't be a woman. Not identifiably. I can't look at you and see a woman. No matter, and that's what this is all about. Because if it was just about him on the inside, he would feel no need to change anything. Because he could still be a woman and be named Zion. Why change his name to Zaya? Makes absolutely no sense. I'm gonna change my name. I am a female, but I'm gonna and I'm a female even though my name is Zion. But I have to change it to Zaya so that the world sees me as a female. Well, then that shows that the whole end game is for the world to see you as a female. And no matter what you do, if the world's not going to see you as a female. So why change it? Why change anything? If you're perfectly fine with being who you are, and you're perfectly fine with being seen as being who you are, which is Zion Wade, who is a boy in a girl's body. I mean, a girl in a boy's body. Then you're still, whether your name is Zion or you have a chopped off penis or you're taking hormone pills, you're still the same Zion. So why change your name? Why do any of that stuff if it's not to prove it to other people? So at the very least, it's very irresponsible for Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union to teach their child to basically bow down to public pressure and to start to dress and act a certain way so that they can fit in with society. At the very least, that is something you can criticize them for. That's at the very least of anybody's morals. You should not teach your child that their job is to try to find a place to fit in society. Your job is to teach your child to be true to themselves. I 100% agree with that. But are you being true to yourself? You're changing your name to Zaya? Because I'm born a boy, but I never had to change my name to be considered one. So no matter what measures you take, you will always be different than the average girl. No matter what situation you try. And I saw somebody who got annoyed because even though Dwayne Wade is doing all these things, there's somebody who got annoyed at Dwayne Wade, and they said, oh yeah, Dwayne Wade used the word, said that she was born a boy. She wasn't born a boy. She was misgendered at birth. And he said that, she understands her sexuality. He's ignorant. Sexuality has nothing to do with being gay. These are the loons that are out there, right? And like I said, there are loons on both sides. I'm not saying that there's more loon on that side of them, but I am a Christian, and as a Christian, I have certain things that I am told is wrong. I have certain things that I, in my Bible, in my religion, are wrong. You do not have a right to tell me that that I cannot practice my religion because it interferes with how comfortable you feel in society. And I don't get to be labeled and persecuted for my beliefs because somehow at some point you guys decide to change your belief. As long as I don't touch Zion Wade, as long as I don't put my hands on Zion Wade, as long as I don't do any type of persecution towards Zion Wade as whatsoever. And I will never teach me or my children to ever do anything that will harm a homosexual, that will make a homosexual feel any worse than they already feel, or persecute them in any way. Because that is not what the Bible teaches you. Jesus teaches forgiveness and love the sinner, love the sinner and hate the sin. That's what we're taught. So anybody who walks around talking about they're going to beat up homosexuals, they're not doing that for the sake of no religion. They're doing that because they got some problems. They're just bad. They're crazy. They're just doing that because that's what they do. But at the end of the day, if you want, if people, these guys who are going, half of these dudes who run on here criticizing Zion Wade, he's criticizing this kid and bullying this kid, they ain't got nothing to do with Christianity. Yeah, but half of the criticism ain't coming from no religious right. It's coming from freaking meatheads that just hate everybody. You know what I'm saying? They can't wait to jump at a reason to dislike anybody. Zion Wade just happens to fall underneath that chapter. Like I said before, congratulations. If they happy, it ain't got nothing to do with me. He can call himself whatever he wants to call himself. But if we trying to get down to a theological discussion of ideas, and you're trying to sit up here and tell me that somehow that if I don't think that Dwayne Wade is an excellent parent, that somehow it makes me a bigot and you feel sorry for my children, then guess what? You start unloading your clip, I'm gonna start unloading mine. And when we get into ideas, trust me, my ideas are going to trump yours because you have nothing back in yours except for feelings. All you can say, you can never argue why what you're saying makes sense. You can only argue that the person saying something against what you're saying is somehow a bigot. When you can't prove how that makes them a bigot. If my child chooses to start smoking and I tell them, hey, that's not good for you, you should probably stop, right? And they look at it and it's like, well, what are you talking about? Why are you big? Why are you persecuting me for my lifestyle? I'm not persecuting you. I'm telling you what you're doing is wrong. I don't hate you. I'm telling you, why do you hate me? Why can't you just love me for who I am? I do love you. I just think what you're doing is wrong. I don't have to believe when I know if I'm a person who is a Christian, who believes that a person who practices that lifestyle is living in a life of sin, which is going to inevitably lead to death and destruction. And I tell them, hey, the Bible says you shouldn't do that. And I'm a Christian, so I believe that is the true tenements. I believe that is true law. That if you do that, it's going to lead to death. It's going to lead to destruction. And by all counts, if you look at the statistics, it's right. It does lead to death. It does lead to destruction, right? But if you sit up there and you tell somebody that, the first thing they're going to pop up and tell you, the first thing the person should say is, you know what? I understand that's what you believe, but I'm sorry. I just don't, that's my risk I'm willing to take. Okay. I'm willing to do what, that's the path I'm choosing. I mean, I'm sorry. If I said that to my kid looked at me and say, I get it, Dad, but that's what I'm gonna do. The same thing if my daughter walked up to me and told me, hey, I don't really believe in getting married. It's like, I believe in just shacking up with 12 different dudes. All I can do is tell her I think that's wrong. But it doesn't mean I hate my daughter. That means I can only tell her I think that lifestyle is not good. I think it leads to STDs. I think it leads to all types of problems, both mentally, physically, and health-wise. I mean, health and or health-wise. I mean, I don't understand, because a group of people have congregated and come together and made it somehow wrong to tell other people what you think they put it under the same thing as walking up to a person you do not know. You don't know anything about their actions. You are not judging. When I judge a homosexual, I am purely judging an action. I'm not judging them as a person. When I judge, once again, and I've said it already, when I judge an African American, I am judging a race of people, and I'm judging a person that I can't possibly know any of their actions. I don't know anything about them outside of the fact that they are black. When I'm treating a woman like she's less than, I only know she's a woman. I do not know anything about her actions or what type of person she is. I can't be judging anything she did. I can only be judging the entire gender as a whole, which is ignorant. It's stupid. When I say that a homosexual act, I am purely only judging that act. Nothing else. Just that act. Stop putting it in the same line, the same stratosphere as saying someone is stupid because they're black or immigrant or no. It has nothing to do with the same. They're those two completely different areas. You guys are just using that so that people can't ever. That's why they continue to keep believing the bullcrap they believe, because when opposition is thrown in front of them, instead of them embracing discussion, what they do is they try to stymie discussion so they don't ever meet resistance. So therefore they never have a concrete reason, or you can't do any real research on homosexuality because they have stopped all research on it. Back in the DS4 used to categorize homosexuality as a mental disorder, right? Because they did studies on it and they realized it is a disorder. It is a distortion of the norm. That's all a disorder is. It's not congregating anything bad onto it. That just means their mind is different than others. And if something is a mindset that leads to negativity or something negative happening, then it's seen as a disorder. And back then, if you were homosexual, it like I said, it was connected to a lot of other mental disorders. And who knows, it could have been a product of the time. But what I'm trying to say is, the problem with homosexuality is you're not allowed, you can't better understand it because they do not allow you to. I don't want you to say anything but the party line. People are born that way, which they can't possibly believe. Trust me, you cannot be born anyway. I tell people this all the time, and it's 100% true. There is no such thing as a sexuality. I think we all are born liking people that like us. Right? We're not attracted to people. I think we're attracted to people who are attracted to us. Right? We're attracted to the thought of somebody attractive finding us attractive. And I think that goes in every circle. So a person can be attracted to a doll if they found out that doll found them more desirable than everybody else. They can find an attraction. That's why people can find attractions to dogs. That's why you see kids who go to sleep and they're 50 years old and they're still walking around with the same blanket and teddy bear. Mental is the most important thing in life, and that as long as that mental is there, you're going to believe whatever the stimuli around you dictates you believe. And instead of these kids growing up and learning to be individuals, they can't find the right place for them to fit, right? It's like, okay, it's like when you ever get that questionnaire and it says black, African, black, Hispanic, and you're kind of looking at it and you're like, I'm not really black, because you might be biracial. It's like, am I African descent? Because I have never been to Africa, so I mean, am I Hispanic descent? Because I don't really know. If you're a biracial person, that can be very confusing for you because you can't really fit into African Americans because you're not just African American. You might be African American and Hispanic. And before they had that new one where they put the little biracial now, they didn't have that. So a lot of times people were just clicking the box that they thought they fit in best. I guess I'll go with black. I guess I'll go with Hispanic. But they don't really fit in either box, and they're not really choosing the right box. They're only choosing the boxes that are available. And I think that's the same thing with this homosexuality crap. And they start adding all these boxes. Cisgender, intergender. It's like, no. Right? They're people. They are just people. And they have every person on this earth has different characteristics. They have different actions. They're just different. And you can't ascribe something to somebody and think that you're gonna find thousands of people that are gonna fit in that thing. You're not. Because the truth of the matter is, nobody will have a problem if everybody would have a problem if I went out and I just started whacking people off. And just prime example I use is when it's like taking a 5-foot basketball player, right? And he says he is been height height whatever. He was ascribed the wrong height at birth. He know his body is 5 feet, but inside is a 7-footer. And he goes through life getting angry at people because they do not respect the fact that people can't see what he sees and can't sympathize with what he sees, and then won't change the world around him to better accommodate his what he sees. And then call anybody who does not ascribe to him being normal as them being a bigot. You go to play basketball and he's like, I want to play center. And you're like, I'm not, dude, do you see that dude? He's 6'8". Like, you're not going to be able to guard him. I'm 7 foot. It's like, no, you're not. You're 6'8". You're not going to be able to, he's 6'8". You're 5 feet. You're not going to be able to guard him. I mean, no matter how bad you want to be 6'8" or you want to believe you're 7 foot, you're only 5 foot. So you're going to interact into normal stimuli and you're not going to fit. And when you don't fit, it's going to cause all types of emotional, mental, even health problems, from the stress and the depression and all that stuff. That's why I look at people like Gabrielle Union and people like Dwayne Wade, and they're applauding these people, and it annoys me. Like, don't applaud somebody that is doing nothing but getting accolades for making someone else's life harder, right? Dwayne Wade ain't got to live his life dealing with what that kid's going to have to deal with. Gabrielle Union doesn't have to go through her life dealing with what that kid's going to have to deal with. And I'm not saying that if your belief is that's his truth, then believe that. But I feel like at 12 years old, that kid has no sexual identity. He has no understanding of what a true homosexual is and what that means. I guarantee you they didn't gave him none of the negative statistics on it. They gave him anything that's going to deter him from being a homosexual. They gave him nothing but affirming stuff that's going to make him be proud to be that. And that is not the way that is not how you make decisions. You make decisions by looking at the pros and the cons and the understanding and the data on it. And you look at it and you say, okay, you may think you fit here, or you may think you fit there, but you need to navigate this, trying to find out who you truly are, but don't let someone push you into what they think you are. And all they have done is take a boy who has certain characteristics or whatever, who had a father who wasn't around, because Dwayne Wade was a basketball player. They're not around. They're in city to city every night. But for 18, 19 years, most of that kid's life, Dwayne Wade has not been there every day, right? Or probably has not even been there for the majority of his year in most years. So he's not going to be raised by a man. He's going to be raised by a female, right? So being raised by a female, you're going to pick up some of their tendencies. You're going to pick up some of their characteristics, especially if you're hanging around a nut job like those nut jobs in Hollywood. They're crazy and weird as hell. And so you're growing up around that environment. You're growing up around those people. It does not surprise me that you would start to believe and fall into that trap of believing that certain behaviors mean certain things. And they're going to tell you those behaviors mean those things. And at the end of the day, Gabrielle Union gets to walk around as this paragon of goodness, and Dwayne Wade gets to walk around as this paragon of goodness where they get nothing but accolades, and this kid is going to have to pay the deed for it. Because what if he's not? There's plenty of times with kids at a younger age believe stuff, and then they get later on in life and they don't believe that anymore. So what happens when that happens? So you guys got to live the high life where everybody's applauding and giving you guys all these awards and accolades, and then this kid lives the rest of his life ostracized, not fitting in with anybody, not being able to find anybody who sympathizes with what he's going through, because even if you are gay, that doesn't mean you know exactly what this kid is going through. It's a very dangerous decision. We don't allow our kids to drink at a young age we would like our children to wait till they're adults to make decisions that are life-changing decisions. We don't allow 12-year-olds to choose what they want to be for the rest of their life. You know why? Because there's too many changes that can happen between the time that you're 12 and 25. There's a lot of maturing. You don't know what type of body type you're going to have. You don't know how well you're going to acclimate to that type of society. You do not let a 12-year-old make a decision that's going to affect them for the rest of their life. That is so ignorant and stupid. And I'm sorry. There's no other way to say it. You cannot let a child make a decision, a life-changing decision. I don't walk up to my 12-year-old and ask her. I asked my daughter the other day what she wanted to be when she grew up. She said an astronaut. Asked her 2 days later, she said she wanted to be a construction worker. You know why? Because kids have no idea what they want to be. They don't know what any of those things surround. She just said she just liked building things. And she said construction workers get to build stuff, so she wanted to be a construction worker because she didn't understand it. So you trying to tell me a 12-year-old, well, they say you start saying this when he was like 7 or 8. So if you're going to sit there and tell me, I'm going to balk at that. Because a kid does not know. I don't care if they're 15. You do not. How many decisions did you make at 15 that you never would have made at 25? But you trying to tell me a 12-year-old knows exactly what he wants to be for the rest of his life? Especially when he has had no sexual experience at all. But he knows what he wants to be. But you can't say that. If you say that, you're a bigot. If you say that, somehow you are bullying this kid. It's like I'm not bullying anybody. I'm telling you what I believe, and as long as you're gonna sit here and force feed to me what you believe, and I have every right to give you what I think. And if my child is gonna be growing up in this world just like yours is, and you want your child to live in a world that perpetuates your beliefs, I want my child to live in a world that perpetuates mine. You don't have a right to stop me if I can't stop you. So, once again, I will say it. Congratulations to Zaya, whatever his name is now. Applaud him. I hope his life is great. I hope he doesn't deal with any problems with this lifestyle. I hope everything about his life is 100% great. Now, if you ask me, do I believe that's gonna happen? Of course, I don't believe that. I believe the kid's gonna be forever scarred. I think he's gonna have to deal with stuff that normal kids his age should never have to deal with, and he's gonna have to do that because his thirsty parents want to go out and get some pats on the back for being progressive at the expense of him. Because truth of the matter is, if he did choose to believe that, he's 12. You should not have put that out there. You should not put a target on this kid's back, and that's his decision to come out and say it when he felt comfortable. It was not your right to come out there and say that about that kid so that you can get pats on the back. That's bull. That kid has now you got a bunch of people who would never knew who this kid was and probably never cared who he was, who is now gonna be bullying this kid, looking for pictures of this kid, trying to find ways to get at this kid when he did nothing but make a decision that he trusted you guys with. You should never have gone out there and tried to make this. And I know it, and I don't have any proof for this, but it screams Gabrielle Union to me. She seems like she's thirsty for attention, and she's always trying to do stuff that puts her in some paragon like light. And I do not like that. You don't put that kid out there like that. You don't put him out there while these ignorant people can come out of from every different direction shooting at this kid. That's not fair to him. Whatever he chose to be, let him be that. And when he gets to a certain age where he feels he wants to come out and speak on that, and let him come out there and speak on that. But that's because, like I said, it could have been a point where the kid gets to about 16, 17, he does not feel that way anymore. He doesn't want to be a girl. But now he's screwed, because now he got a bunch of pressure and a bunch of people that's putting him on. It's just like that Jasmine girl who's going through all these mental problems. Now, if you don't know, there's another transgender little girl named Jasmine who came out when she was like 5 or 6. She come out talking about she want to be a dad. Now all of a sudden she's going through all types of mental breakdown, trying to kill herself and stuff. You know what I'm saying? These demons real. Like, I know people don't believe in God and they don't believe in religion and whatever, but demons are real. And it says in the Bible, if you clean out a house and the demon returns and sees that it's clean, he gonna call 10 other demons in, because now we got a good place to stay. And these kids are just taught crap from the time that they're children, and then because these parents want to be held on, these parents want to be celebrated at the expense of their children. And I'm sorry, I'm never gonna be a fan of that. Anyways, I just wanted to speak on that. Please comment if you got anything to say. I know 90% of my time, some people agree, some people don't. I really don't care. The point is, I just want to speak on it because I feel as if there's a lot of mindsets being taught that's either really ignorant, what people are saying negative stuff and crushing a 12-year-old, and then you have the other side of people who just are applauding the parents, not ever actually analyzing what they do or did. Anyways, like I said, please comment, thumbs it up if you like it, and let me know. Well, actually, just hit the notification so you get the notification every time I make a video. All right, y'all, peace.